Tonight on The South Today, from dairy to grains, the government invests in oat milk production in Southland. Christchurch celebrates rebuilt fire stations as part of a program of upgrades by Fire and Emergency New Zealand. And a Mosgiel scientist has developed a face mask spray to help kill bacteria and reduce skin issues. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Dave Gooselink. A Southland initiative has received a major boost in its goal of becoming New Zealand's top producer of oat milk. The government is investing $6 million towards a plant-based beverage processing facility, with oat milk to be the first product off the production line.
Farming of oats in Southland is to get a boost thanks to the government's announcement of $6 million of funding towards an oat milk factory in Makarewa, just north of Invercargill. Economic and Regional Development Minister Stuart Nash says the money's coming from the newly established Regional Strategic Partnership Fund, which replaces the earlier Provincial Growth Fund.
The business case put forward, the value proposition outlined, was incredibly sound, and in terms of, from my perspective, very easy to give a big tick to.
The factory would produce about 80 million litres of oat milk a year, a product which Nash says is increasing in popularity.
I've got a local cafe in Napier, and about 3 months ago I said, how are things going? And they said, well, things are going really well. We know that Aucklanders are moving. Normally we sell about 2 litres of oat milk a week, now we're up to 10 litres.
It's hoped the factory will be operating by the end of next year and creating about 50 new jobs for the region. The construction of Southland's oat milk factory is set to cost about $50 million, with the government funding about a tenth of the cost. In Invercargill, The South Today.
Residents across the south are urged to take care with more heavy rain and snow expected across the regions. Roads were closed and trees were downed today as wild weather slammed the country. The Dunedin City Council says contractors have been out clearing and checking stormwater and wastewater systems, sweeping gutters and checking mud tanks in high-risk areas. Meanwhile, in North Canterbury, it seems the rain doesn't just fall mainly on the plains. On the hills near Lowburn, many creeks quickly filled up as heavy rain fell across the South Island today. Roads, driveways and paths were soon awash, just like the ones down on the flat land around Rangiora and Oxford. Constant rain raised river levels, and the Cust River broke its banks in several places by mid-morning, although none of the flooding threatened homes. The Waimakariri District Council closed all fords due to flooding, with motorists urged to take care on the roads as the rain continues to fall. And back here in Dunedin, the City Council is still expecting between 70 and 100 millimetres of rain to fall overnight, as well as snow above 300 metres. We'll take a closer look at the weather outlook later in the bulletin. Christchurch has welcomed a new fire station as part of a major revamp of Fire and Emergency New Zealand's facilities. The Christchurch City Fire Station is one of 12 being redeveloped as part of a major $70 million revamp.
Some big improvements for the Central City's fire station, including an appliance bay for 4 fire engines, accommodation facilities and a 15-metre high training tower. The $12 million Central City Fire Station is one of 12 sites being rebuilt in Greater Christchurch as part of a $78 million Fire and Emergency New Zealand program for the Garden City. The Kilmore Street site also houses one of 2 command centres for the region, with the station completely rebuilt on its former site.
This station was quite badly damaged in the quake, as were a number of our other stations. So took the opportunity to have a look at the location of all our stations through Christchurch and undertook a strategic redevelopment.
There are 9 metropolitan stations and 95 volunteer stations across the region. Fire and Emergency New Zealand are also bringing in a national strategic asset management plan to integrate resources at both volunteer and career stations.
That's bringing together, all the firefighting resource and equipment from all the territorial authorities around.
A final 3 rebuilds are underway for volunteer stations in Kaiapoi, Kaikoura and Sumner. In Christchurch, the South Today.
The Otago Regional Council is preparing to announce new bus timetables following ongoing disruptions due to driver shortages. In recent weeks, passengers have been left out in the cold with buses not showing up. The Otago Regional Council says COVID-19 and other winter illnesses have led to serious staffing issues in both Dunedin and Queenstown. It's meant there aren't enough drivers to operate all the routes across the week. The Regional Council's threshold to trigger reduced timetables is the cancellation of 10% of trips over 3 consecutive workdays. The ORC believes reducing the number of services on offer would make bus schedules more reliable. The organisation's advising people to keep an eye on the Orbus Dunedin and Queenstown Facebook pages, as well as the Regional Council's website for updates. A researcher scientist based at Ag Research's Invermay campus near Mosgiel has developed a unique antiseptic spray for face masks. The product uses a number of naturally occurring antiseptics to help make masks more hygienic and less likely to cause acne.
A cure for the acne some people get from wearing a face mask. Health and beauty company owner Adipa Bogle has developed a product to spray on your mask to kill the germs that can cause acne.
What you need to do is just spray lightly this, and that takes care of the bugs that's sitting on the mask.
Called Freshen Mask, it's a non-aerosol hygienic mask spray. She's carefully chosen botanicals such as manuka and rosemary for their antimicrobial activity and antiseptic properties. Plus, there's the addition of peppermint and spearmint as a breath freshener. Bogle says tests have shown the spray significantly reduces colony-producing bacteria found on reused masks.
The surfaces are lurking with bugs, all the germs, and so we have the tendency to leave the mask on the desk, on the table, or put that in a bags, which also not very hygienic place.
As well as the spray, there's also a cream and a soap as an extra level of care for combating skin irritation and breakouts from mask wearing. In Mosgiel, the South Today.
Whai Akine, still to come on the South Today, a couple of hardy swimmers about to take part in a very chilly race, and we meet an award-winning wonky donkey trainer who's just 12 years old.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Age Concern Otago hosts a multitude of social activity, including little walks.
Welcome back. Well, spending 2 hours every day honing her skills has gained a 12-year-old Dunedin girl national recognition in a little-known field. Imogen Leeper has received a Young Achiever Award from the Donkey and Mule Society of New Zealand. It's one of just 2 awards handed out this year.
At 12 years old, Dunedin's Imogen Leeper knows how to spot a wonky donkey. She's been caring for 26-year-old Coco and 10-year-old Jasper for the last 4 years, and her work's gained her national recognition.
I won the Young Achiever Award for my age group out of New Zealand, and so it was quite a surprise to get that, because this is my first year competing with donkeys. But yeah, it was definitely a surprise, but I'm very grateful for it.
The donkeys are judged on a range of aspects, including presentation and how well they can compete on obstacle courses and trot in circles. This is the first year she's shown her donkeys at AMP shows and was quite surprised to receive the award. But she says the world of competitive donkeying isn't all awards and glamour.
Well, there's a lot of everyday care, so I get up really early before school and feed out, and in the afternoon after school as well, and training them and getting them all prepared for a show is a lot of work.
The most challenging part of dealing with donkeys is their often difficult temperament. But the tenacious young lady isn't letting cranky wonky donkeys get her down, as she continues to teach them new tricks, ready for the next show. In Dunedin, the South Today.
In Otago, Grey Power leader is calling on people to do their bit to protect the most vulnerable by wearing masks. The call follows the sight of 28,000 people, mostly unmasked, watching the rugby at Forsyth Bar Stadium on Saturday night. Grey Power Otago President Joe Miller was infuriated by what she says as people carelessly out in public without a mask. And while Forsyth Bar Stadium has a roof, it's considered to be outside and mask wearing isn't mandatory in the venue. But Miller believes there's real concern among older citizens about the spread of COVID-19 at large gatherings and is urging people to mask up for the elderly. While the country is in the grip of winter, Wanaka is preparing to host New Zealand's first pool-based ice swimming championships. And to get ready for the event, 2 Central Otago swimmers have been training in sub-zero conditions in the town's natural lake pool, Lake Wanaka.
On a picturesque morning when the dawn temperature was -3 Celsius, hardy southern wahine Camille Julick and Rachel Armstrong are swimming in Lake Wanaka.
Well, I don't feel like I've done as much preparation as I should. Last year I had access to a very cold pool that I was getting myself ready for those very low single-digit temperatures.
The pair are training for New Zealand's first ice swim pool championships being held in Alexandra this weekend. The event is being run by the International Ice Swimming Association of Aotearoa New Zealand, our country's fledgling arm of an international group who coordinate competitions run under a strict set of guidelines.
Hopefully there's not actually ice on the pool. The last I've heard, the pool is 4.5 degrees, which is ideal because it has to be below 5 to be official, but you want it as close to 5 as possible, I think.
Organisers say the competition is an exciting opportunity to dip your toes in or take a great leap into ice swimming. There are some shorter courses with swims of 100 or 200 metres for those who want to just break the ice, while the hardy can try longer races up to 1,000 metres in water that's 5 degrees Celsius or less. In Wanaka, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. From dairy to grains, the government invests $6 million into a factory working on oat milk production in Southland. Christchurch celebrates rebuilt fire stations as part of a $78 million spend across the country, with Fire and Emergency New Zealand upgrading facilities. A scientist at Ag Research's Invermay facilities developed an antiseptic face mask spray to help kill bad bacteria and reduce acne skin issues in masks. Now taking a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Deputy Editor Craig Page. Craig.
Good evening. Yeah, all about the weather today, as the predicted weather bomb has arrived.
Good day to stay inside.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of snow up through central Otago, those parts as well, and plenty of rain in Dunedin. Locally, the DCC's been out monitoring and just checking its stormwater drains to make sure there's a reasonable flow there. They're predicting something like up to 15 mils an hour overnight, which is a bit of water about. If things deteriorate, of course, they may look at sandbags at some stage as well, so they're just giving a watching brief overnight on that. The ORC is also looking at river levels as well, just monitoring those. So hopefully by tomorrow morning we'll be still...
No flooding at this stage here?
Not at this stage, so early days. Of course, the ORC today also confirming that it will be reducing its bus service routes in Dunedin and Queenstown from next week. Yeah, just a shortage of drivers, which has been well publicised through various things, COVID as well as just a general shortage in that area. So yeah, they're taking precautions now and we'll be cutting it back from next week. On our fresh pages, we look at hearty winter food, a good chicken chowder and a lentil soup. You can't beat. But,
sounds good.
Yeah, and also one of my personal favourites, the humble pumpkin. 6 ways to use pumpkin, including a pretty impressive looking pumpkin custard, so well worth a look. And just quickly with our sport as well, we catch up with Dunedin policewoman Erin Doherty, who's making a name for herself on the rugby field as a referee. She only took up the whistle about 4 years ago, but this year has been named in the New Zealand High Performance Referees squad, so really taking the step up there. She's going to officiate in her first Farah Palmer Cup match later this month. Jokingly suggests policing and refereeing has some similarities in that you're both always making someone unhappy, so she's probably not wrong.
Good on her. Craig Page, thank you. Tomorrow's ODT. Now taking a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
And looking at the situation, it'll be very, very cold, very windy and very wet tomorrow as a low pressure system just east of Otago directs a wintry southwest airstream onto the region. Heading to the top of the South Island, strong southwesterlies and showers in Nelson with a high of 10 degrees. Greymouth has gusty southwesterlies and showers, also 10. And Christchurch can expect strong southwesterlies but mostly fine, the high of 9 degrees. Travelling south, the strong southwesterlies continue to blow across South Canterbury and North Otago. Highs of 9 in Ashburton and Timaru with 8 in Oamaru. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, look for strong southerlies but becoming fine here, 8 degrees across the board in Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra. Heading down south, wrap up warm with southwesterly gales and showers forecast for Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins, highs of 7 degrees for all of you. Down to Invercargill, periods of rain tonight with gale force southeasterlies, a low of 5. Cloudy tomorrow with frequent periods and strong gusty southeasterly winds, a high of 7, a low of 6. And for Thursday, cloudy with showers and strong cold southerly winds, a high of 7 and a low of 5 degrees. And for Dunedin, heavy rain tonight and strong easterlies, a low of 7. Periods of rain continue tomorrow, easing slowly during the day. Strong and gusty winds for most of the day, possibly near gale force during the afternoon. A high of 7 and a low of 6. And on Thursday, overcast with frequent showers again. Strong cold southwesterlies decreasing slowly. Most showers though should clear on Thursday night. A high of 7 and a low of 5 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite, apopo.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.